Let me remind you on this. Roy Jones Jr. is my favorite fighter of all time. So as I'm breaking down tape and looking at Iron Mike Tyson, I'm not noticing what I'm doing. I look at him, I'm looking at the footage, I look back at Mike, and Mike is rolling his neck. And he's rocking back and forth. And Iron Mike Tyson looks at me, he says, "I'm going to destroy him." And he walks away. I look at my phone, and I look at him, and I'm like,
Hi, this is Joe Cortez. You're watching ShowBizz, the adult.
Oh, this is Bernard Hopkins, ShowBizz, the adult. I'm out.
oops, up off net. Up off net. What's up, my people? This is ShowBizz, the adult. All right, man, look. So, you guys want to hear a little story or two of what happened that night with Iron Mike Tyson and Henry Cejudo. Whoops! All right, man, look. Let's get to the video. First, I want to say this. Shout out to Team Tyson. Thank you to everyone who were involved with choosing me to come out there. I mean, you guys were very hospitable. I had a very, very great time out there. It was just excellent. So you did a lot for me. You did a lot for the community. You know, it seems as though we're going to be keeping our relationship. So, I mean, it was just excellent. I'm back home. I made it safe. Okay, let's get to the video. I see a lot of people in my community asking me about the picture. With me at the party with Chuck Zito, Iron Mike Tyson, Henry Cejudo. A lot of you hitting me up on email, DMs, like, I know you have stories. Did you talk to Mike Tyson? I'm sure you did. How is Henry Cejudo? You know, just Chuck Zito, how did that happen? All those things. Yeah, I got the story to tell. ShowBizz the mug if you don't get your black 2 sugars. So, I got a few stories. So, Iron Mike Tyson's manager, we were actually at Iron Mike Tyson's manager house. And we were watching the fights. The fights were, was coming on. You know, there were so many prelims. It was going to be a long night for the Robert Whitaker fight. So, Iron Mike Tyson, he tells his manager, hey, look, I'll be there at around 5 o'clock. Okay, so, his sons and everybody get the tacos. We got this nice Mexican spread of food. Getting tacos and everything together for when Iron Mike Tyson comes, okay? So I'm sitting here chilling with the manager. We're talking. Not too many people in the house. And who comes walking in at 3:15? Iron Mike Tyson. Iron Mike Tyson comes in at 3:15. We were expecting him at 5 o'clock. I'm looking down the hall. Iron Mike Tyson comes walking down the hall. The guy is walking with the presence of like some kind of a Roman gladiator, all right? He's walking, his head is down. He got that Iron Mike Tyson pit bull off the leash, pacing lion type of walk. So it looks like you should give him a battle axe and a shield, okay? So he's walking down by himself, fully intimidating. He comes down. I'm sitting in his favorite chair, all right? I look at his manager. His manager's like, I got to get up because he has a chair there that's designated for Iron Mike Tyson. Of course, I get up. I get up, move to the other chair. He said, how you doing, brother? Very cordial, shakes my hand. He sits down. I'm rattled in the presence of Iron Mike Tyson. So a fight comes on. I'm looking at the fighters. One of them undefeated. I tell Iron Mike Tyson, I'm saying, oh man, she's undefeated. Iron Mike Tyson proceeds to tell me how he went 15-0 in 1 year. I'm like, how old were you, Mike? I remember you were fighting a lot. Mike tells me, yeah, I was like 19, 20. Then he follows that up with Harry Grab. Now, you all know how I feel about the legends, okay? The fighters back in Sweet Science, the Gold Age fighters, those guys. He brings up Harry Grab. He talks about how Harry Grab went 44-0 in 1 year. He said that's the record. So I expound on Harry Grab. I'm like, yeah, man, him and Gene Tunney. So we go back and forth. And I think that is the moment that Iron Mike Tyson says, hey, I think I like this kid. So Iron Mike Tyson asks me. He gets up. He's heading to the kitchen to see the spread of food. He asked me, he said, hey, ShowBizz, how do you feel about Roy Jones Jr.? He's fast, huh? So I pop up like the Manchurian Candidate. You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as he asks me a question, yeah, Mike, I pop up like the Manchurian Candidate. Just instinctively breaking down Roy Jones Jr. Yeah, he's fast, Mike. I mean, he's probably faster than you just with his hands. I don't know about full body speed. I'm looking at you hopping to the side. I'm looking how you throwing combinations. I'm looking at how your top half of your body moves. I'm looking at how your feet is, you know, jumping to the side, jumping backward, jumping forward. I'm like, full body speed. You actually probably faster than Roy Jones Jr. I say he doesn't have much, you know, legs. His legs doesn't seem that fast, not at this time of his career. So I said, let me show you something. And I grabbed footage of Roy Jones Jr. in my phone. And I'm like, hey, look at his legs. And I start talking about Roy Jones Jr. and what I see in the fight. And this is where the rubber meets the road. As I'm showing Iron Mike Tyson in all of the flaws I see in my favorite fighter. Let me remind you on this. Roy Jones Jr. is my favorite fighter of all time. So as I'm breaking down tape and looking at Iron Mike Tyson, I'm not noticing what I'm doing. I look at him, I'm looking at the footage, I look back at Mike, and Mike is rolling his neck. And he's rocking back and forth. And he's rolling his neck. And I'm like, and look at this, and look at how he does this, Mike, and look how he does that. And Iron Mike Tyson looks at me, he says, I'm going to destroy him. And he walks away. Yo, I'm holding my phone when he says that about my favorite fighter. And I am the one to put him in that frame of mind. I look at my phone and I look at him and I'm like, I just added fuel to the fire for Iron Mike Tyson to destroy Roy. Fast forward, we're watching the fights. Iron Mike Tyson, sitting in a chair, like I said, I'm sitting closer to the TV, further away from his manager. He's sitting next to his manager. We're watching the fights. And I mentioned this guy's jab. I forget who we were watching, but I mentioned his jab. I said, I mean, man, that dude got a wonderful jab, you know, like a Larry Holmes or something like that. Iron Mike Tyson says, yeah, like a Larry Holmes. He kind of flicks his jab. So I look at Iron Mike Tyson. And we start talking about jabs, okay? And we're talking, but I don't want to wear out my welcome. So I kind of cut it. You get that feel. You know, you're talking to somebody, it's like, you know, let me not, you know, impose my conversation a little bit too much. Let me just talk to him a little bit. And I stop. I go and I look at the fight. I'm looking at the fight. And I hear, and then, I'm like, and Mike Tyson was still talking. So, of course, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I was rude. I was being rude with my. I'm trying to show him consideration for his time. So I call myself being considerate and cutting it short. He wasn't done. I'm looking at the TV. He goes, and then I'm like, oh, he's looking at me like motherfucker. So of course I'm like, oh my bad. I talk to him some more, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely, Mike, absolutely. I go back to look at the fight, and I hear, I look, he's still talking like, dude. Let me tell you, Iron Mike Tyson is just a very, very cool cat. All right, so everyone start joining the party. You get more and more people walking through the door. Everybody's coming in. Here comes Henry Cejudo. Very nice guy. Okay, Henry Cejudo is just a very nice guy. Him and I, we just really clicked very quickly just because of how cordial and how nice of a guy he is. He just makes it easy for you to be very friendly to him. So me and Henry Cejudo, we're talking, you know, I mean, just very friendly guy. He gets up, he goes outside, you know, on the beautiful deck he has, you know, we're looking at the water, the ocean is right there, so there's a lot of fellas outside too. But the house is now packed, and we're laughing, drinks are being made. It's just a wonderful time. And just so happens a fight is on where a guy is a big guy and he's pretty out of shape. Okay, he got a big stomach, you know, he got man boobs, you know what I mean? He just out of shape, but he's out there, he's fighting. I mean, no disrespect to him. And Mike Tyson, he's there, he's quiet, he's relaxed, he's in the zone, just chilling and quiet. And we're all looking at the guy, but they show instant replay of this guy throwing a right hand. And the guy goes to throw the right hand. And when he does, his belly shakes, his boobs jumps up and down. It's just like, you know, and I look at it and I say, oh my God, it's almost like we're watching porn. And I thought that bit was going to hit hard, but everybody was quiet except for a little giggle from Mike Tyson. Everybody's quiet. I dropped my bit. I'm like, it looks like we're watching porn. Quiet, crickets. Iron Mike Tyson goes, I'm like, well, at least I got that out of Iron Mike Tyson, okay? But then, later on, they show him again in slow motion, and Iron Mike Tyson steals my bet, okay? And everybody laughs. They show him in slow motion. Iron Mike Tyson looks at it, and he goes, it looks like we're watching porn. Everybody dies laughing. No one can laugh hard enough. Crying and laughing. People slapping, knee slappers. People are losing their mind, laughing loud. Iron Mike Tyson's laughing. Like, right, guys? It looks like we're watching porn. Everybody's dying laughing. I'm sitting here like, wait a second. No, wait a second. Wait, that was my bit. That was my... Oh, no, time out. Time out. That was my bit. And I like my bit. Evidently, so did Mike. So I wanted to fight for my bit until I saw a guy looking at me like, look, I still don't know who the guy is, okay? He looks at me and he's like, hey, yo, like, let him have that bit, bro. Like, I heard you. I knew that was your bit. Don't let that ride. So fast forward, the night is just getting better. Everybody's having a good time. Who sits next to me? Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo, he sits next to me. He's watching the main event, Whitaker's fighting. He's looking at it. And I just start kind of chiming in. I'm talking to everybody, and Henry Cejudo, he's within earshot. Like, he's sitting right there. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, hey, man, Whitaker should do this. And, man, hey, look at how they did that, and look how they did this. I can't help it. It's my job. It's just what I am instinctively. I'm just looking at it, and I'm telling, you know, I'm giving a blow-by-blow. You know, some of it audible. Some of it is kind of like I'm whispering a little bit. And Henry Cejudo says, no, he disagrees. He says, no, that's not what happened there. Really, you know, he's thinking this, and this is what happens. And he follows that up with, but those are the type of things that only a dog in a fight would know. Who am I to battle words with Henry Cejudo about MMA, okay? So when he says that, I shut up. I'm like, oh, no, well, you definitely know far better than I do. I'm giving blow by blow. Henry Cejudo's sitting there. He's probably steaming out of his ears, rocking back and forth like, no, it's not A, it's B, and those are the type of things that only a dog in a fight would know. You gotta love Henry Cejudo. It was a great time. I mean, just a fantastic time. And right before the picture was taken, I hold a conversation with Chuck Zito. Now, he's a guy that I've been seeing the entire time at Tyson Ranch. I mean, he's there early. He's always talking to me, just a good guy. I mean, he's just a great guy. And it's so funny that I realized, I mean, this is the first time I saw Zito outside of the gym. I realized that every shirt he wears looks like a workout shirt. He's wearing, the dude is so big. The dude is so big and so into fitness that every shirt he wears looks like a muscle workout shirt. Now, I've been seeing the guy at Tyson Ranch wearing workout shirts, but this time he's at a party wearing a shirt, and I promise you, it looked like a workout shirt. It's coming off his shoulders. I'm like, dude, this dude he's too big for his own good. A little bit before we take the picture, he talks to me. He tells me a joke. The joke was so vicious and unfiltered, okay, that we are all laughing. I'm sitting next to Billy, Iron Mike Tyson's trainer, which I think I'm going to invite Billy onto the show. I really want to ask Billy about how Iron Mike Tyson is training and stuff like that, how he looking, opposed to how he looked in his prime. Billy and Iron Mike, they go way back, okay? So Zito was talking to us both. And every time Billy laughs at what Zito's saying, Billy hits me with a combination to my stomach. Every time Zito says something funny, Billy, he doesn't just laugh, it's accompanied with a couple shots to my ribs, not a shoe shine in the air, a couple shots to my ribs. I'm sitting next to him, Zito say something funny, I'm like, because this guy's, like, what kind of man laughs and let his hands ride? I'm telling you, I have internal bleeding over here. I'm asking Zito, please stop telling these funny stories because Billy's over here. He's about to make me poop out my kidneys, okay? And that is what happened right before I took the picture of all of us. We're kind of standing in the same area. Everybody started to split up, and we gathered around. Tyson's manager was like, hey, you know, take a picture with ShowBizz, and we all get together, we take a picture. Those guys are fantastic guys. If you guys are watching, I mean, I had a fantastic time. I can't wait to go out there again. I think it's going to be pretty soon. We're going to have a lot of fun then, and hopefully we'll take more pictures, have more videos. I'm sure we're going to have more stories. ShowBizz for adult. I'm out.